Welcome back to Snackcast.
Welcome back, man.
So today we are not wearing matching shirts, as you can see. So we actually were going to wrap up setbacks, but Kevin and I had a conversation, and there's kind of a sensitive subject that we really thought it would be interesting to touch base on as a setback, because it's arguably the worst one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's up there. Yeah.
So what we're kind of thinking is toxic relationships.
And they can be toxic, not just home personal relationships. They can be toxic from a work perspective as well, right?
Work, cousin, spouse, kid, coworker, right. Employee. It's a really kind of it's a deep little rabbit hole. All
right, so give an example. What's a toxic relationship look like at home? So you get off work, you're 5:30 in the afternoon, you're so excited, you're about to go hit your workout, and you come home to what?
I think the most obvious would be someone that's close to you, like a spouse that they're not in the same place. They're not.
What do you mean by that?
Interested. I'm getting there. They're not interested in joining you as you choose to take up a certain exercise regimen, and they're scared to be left behind, and they start roadblocking or
verbal abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse,
maybe even simplest distraction. Hey, I know you were going to work out, but can you run up to the grocery store for me?
Or wouldn't it be better if we just sat home together and watched Netflix?
Right. So, it's kind of a sensitive subject. Thankfully, it's not one I have a lot of experience in, but I do think it's very real. I think even in the business world.
I was going to say, what's the toxic relationship look like in the business world?
Right. People start to find success, and the people around them often either want to demean that success or want to bring them down. Or I think there's a real insecurity among a lot of people in other people's success.
Oh, I think you're hitting on the mental aspect of this, that, like you said, you really don't want to be left behind, right? So and let's go deeper than that. Why don't I want to be left behind? Because it puts a magnifying glass on my failures, right? And you and I laughed about it. We were like, we do it in the business world, right? I mean, we see other people doing businesses, and we're like, that guy,
that's a stupid idea.
He's a
knucklehead.
Yeah, and how on earth, is he so successful, or she, and like you try to in order to bring yourself up, you're bringing them down 5 notches.
I think it's human nature, right? And not good people, but the good people that know how to manage that recognize it, and they stop doing it.
Okay, so Dr. Phil, you come home to a toxic spouse, you see a relationship. What's the number one thing you would say to that person who's in that scenario?
I think what I would encourage people to understand is that you can have both. You can be good to that person that might be a little toxic in your life while still investing in yourself. I think it actually, in the long run, investing in self makes all your relationships, generally speaking, better anyways. So I don't really have advice on specifically.
Well, I mean, is there addressing the fear with that person? Like, hey, why don't we go work out together? Why don't we do more things together?
Why are you asking me questions you got the answer to?
Because this is a snack cast and we're snacking.
No, I think that's actually very good advice, right? To get them to come with. Right. Try and encourage them to come with.
I would say, to add my little cherry on top, would say probably that awareness that your spouse or significant other is feeling that way will help you navigate that environment, right?
Yeah. And not to pick on spouses again. This can be
this would be work. Your boss could look at you, 30 minutes before you're ready to walk out the door and say, "Here's 5 hours of filing or homework I want you to do for the business. Please have it done by tomorrow." And you're like, "But I was going to do this, this, and this for myself."
Yeah.
And in that environment, sometimes you got to say the most powerful word in the English language.
That's where I was going.
Is, I know you think it's this big old yes on my chest, but the most powerful word in the English language is no.
With nothing else.
With nothing else. Don't give an explanation. Don't give would you do this for me? No.
That is hard for a lot of people.
It's hard. It's hard for a lot of people because you instantly want to explain why you are giving that feedback.
Reminds me of an old, I don't even know if you call it an attorney joke, a lawyer joke, but you got the time.
10:53.
You got the time.
Yes. Yes, I have the time. I get the joke now. Okay. But yeah, sometimes you got to just say no with not an explanation. You don't need to explain everything that you do for yourself. And that's hard.
Yeah.
So,
again, it's kind of a sensitive one. It's it's frankly, it's probably one that most people just deal with it, and they cope around it and not meet it head on. And frankly, I don't know the proper answer.
Well,
but
awareness
I know it
is
can be
huge.
Very difficult.
And awareness is huge, right?
And I know it happens in real life.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I think you've surrounded yourself with people, and I've surrounded myself with people. And for the most part, we don't deal with that.
No, and sometimes you got to cut bait on those relationships. And I'm not an advocate for breaking up marriages or
who's Dr. Phil now?
I'm not. I'm just saying that sometimes that's the final straw.
Yeah.
That in order for you to survive, you actually have to make some hard decisions.
Yep.
All right.
I agree.
On a brighter note,
prune the tree.
Brighter note, tomorrow we'll circumvent. We'll come back around. We'll not circumvent. We'll come back around and summarize.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed today. Questions, comments, criticism, feedback, email us at snackcast@yes.fit.
Stay moving.
See ya.